I live in a world with whores wanting a war for being viviparous. If I brought even one kid in the Western society, I ought to be embarrassed. As if there should be a trophy for these 304s being careless with the nethers. Shut off their offspring and send them to the nether realm. When there's a modern man, get credit at the helm. When it's a woman with a movement behind her that smells of excrement, pronounced as feminist, cousin of the Bedouins, Pocahontas, Sacagawea, renegades in need of a later, but they're just too far gone in a world where hoes winning a war for being viviparous. If I brought even one kid into Western society, I ought to be embarrassed. Huxley hit the head on the nail about the depravity of viviparity, and the brave knew I don't want nobody to marry me. I say that with sincerity. Have you seen the latest movies I've been reviewing? A24 know the score, the invite to the drama. Practice procreation while wearing a condom. I don't believe in karma, but I already got enough problems. I ain't making any mamas in a world with whores wanting the war for being viviparous. If I brought even one kid into Western society, I ought to be embarrassed. I'd rather divide than replicate what mammals consider as life. I'd rather strive to live mine than to be in the business of others. Definition of an easy lover, and that's not to overcompensate for shooting blanks. I got plenty in the sperm bank. High protein diet, cruiserweight with the fuel of a tank. I'm just not into committing myself to thankless jobs. As an entity spending my energy in this plane I'm already robbed. Why continue to go further in the red? I'll be a dog if a bitch fertile. Ain't nothing wrong with putting my dick on her leg in a world where whores winning the war for being viviparous. If I brought even one kid into Western society, I ought to be embarrassed. Viviparity is parody. 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 I always found charity to be akin to the height of hilarity.
Now we're together, Hit the thing, man.
You ever look out the window?
Now we're together,
You know what I see when I look out this window?
Refuse to be profit, that's why I make the profit. With a terrible stock tip, my future's 4x. I haven't had a US wallet since they had chains on them and hot topics of prominence. I support the cosmos, angels dominance over hate and prominence. Now that's a stable whiff I could build a providence. I helped up Yuka Sakazaki, a fourth rope ROH, and haven't been the same since. I'm no prophet, no poker chip, no coin for the slot. Though I love the thought of a slot with ovum oozing out its orifice, entertaining the thought of this realm being on the back of a tortoise. Will Atlas shrug? I know Tantor does, but I don't believe Ganesh gets frightened by bugs. Flip, might want to button those lips. Too late, already in deep shit. Jackass 3D, the bungee with the porta potty skit. Don't have to watch that to know Steve-O got covered in excrement. Looks like we're both brothers in metal. Collarbones filled with cobalt. No nano chip. That's the old Apple before the phone took over the world. Save for the civil and the Amish. I'm no prophet. What type of hustler could barely turn a profit? I'm not him, the former. Besides, these days I'm much older. Typing this somewhere not far from Boulder. Fondling the boulders contained in my cargoes. Laying in an open air U-Haul container made for cargo. Though I ain't looking to get hitched again. Not with my profits. I file single on my taxes, all exempt. Pimp the government, that's a description, not a verb. The late great Sean Price said it best peep my words. Stanley with Cosmo, I to the Watcher, Nick Fury Senior, Serene, taking the time to observe how fake was the space race in the first place. The unseen, agent of nothing. The unseen, agent of nothing. The unseen, agent of nothing. How fake was the space race in the first place? The unseen, agent of nothing. The unseen, agent of nothing. The unseen, agent of nothing. How fake was the space race in the first place?